Okay, good evening. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. I'd like to call the Tazewell County Board meeting to order, and Mr. Ackerman, would you please call roll?
Crawford.
Here.
Goddard.
Here.
Graff.
Here.
Hall. Harris. Hopkins.
Here.
Josting.
Here.
Longfellow.
Here.
Mennel.
Here.
Milam.
Here.
Mingus.
Here.
Nelms.
Here.
Phillips. Pereira.
Here.
Rich Stimson.
Here.
Schmidtall.
Here.
Schneider. Sin.
Here.
Stahl.
Here.
Stump. Woodrow. Chairman Zimmerman. Or Chairman Graham.
Okay. There goes your budget, John.
Graham. Here. You have it.
Rise to invocation of pledge, please. Lord, we come before you this evening. We thank you for the blessings in our life, our family, our friends, and the opportunity we have to serve one another. We thank you for all the people who are around us at all times that we may love and care for. Please watch and protect them in this weather and the things that we've got going on. Be with us tonight as we have conversations. Help us be good, worthy, and in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. To start off with, I'm going to rearrange the agenda just a little bit from what you've got there. We're going to move item D up, and we're going to have communications from elected and appointed county officials. In this, before we go to the presentation, is there anybody who'd like to say anything from elected officials? Okay then, Mr. Holly and Ms. Workman. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. I know any good meeting starts with an attorney talking first, so you're welcome. I'm sure many of you have heard in the last several days, or maybe you've been contacted directly, that the City of Pekin has a proposal, land use development that is planned for the north side of town that includes a data center. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
No, that's a no. Alright, I don't wanna make anybody deaf like this. Is this a little bit better? Okay. Alright. I'm sure most of you have heard the City of Pekin has a data center that's currently planned for the north side of town. Some of you may have been contacted directly regarding that. So the purpose of me being here this evening and being available and Jackie joining me is that we want to be able to provide good information to you, perhaps some clarity about what the county board's role is, what authority you may have, or the lack of authority that you may have when it comes to determining the fate of this proposed land development. I have good news and bad news. The good news is that the answer is clear and it's straightforward, which I know a lot of times is not something that you'll get from an attorney. The bad news is that the answer is perhaps not what I would like it to be, and it may not be what you would like to hear. But as always, as I always tell the board, you're very aware, my function here is to make sure that you have the best information possible to do your job as county board members, that you're operating consistent with the law. So whether I like it or you like it, I am here and will always give you honest, truthful, and accurate information to go about doing your job. In this case, the state of Illinois has, what I'm sure you've heard of before, there's a particular section of the statutes that apply to counties, cleverly named the county's code. Seems like an appropriate name. Not all of the county's authorities and duties are outlined in that code, but the majority of them are. And one of the sections in the county's code gives some guidance regarding the county's authority to regulate land use and land development. And it also addresses sort of the interplay between counties and cities when it comes to restrictions and regulations on land and development. 55 ILCS 5/5-12001 addresses that authority. It gives the county generally its authority to use zoning to regulate structures and land development. And the language that the statute uses to restrict locations and use of structures and land development. But that general authority is also restricted in the same statute. It restricts that county authority to areas that are, quote, outside the limits of cities, villages, and incorporated towns. The statute also indicates that the regulatory powers that are given to cities, municipalities, incorporated towns under the municipal code, which is the statutes that apply to cities, those powers are not to be superseded by any powers that are granted to the counties under the county, or granted to the county under the county's code. The statute also specifically indicates that ordinances that are enacted by the city regarding territory within the corporate limits of the city supersedes any county regulation. So that statute, and again, a lot of times we get statutes that are difficult to interpret, but this one clearly indicates that the county's zoning and land use authority is for areas outside of the city limits, outside of corporate limits, what we generally refer to as unincorporated areas of the county. So the situation currently is that the city of Pekin has purchased this land that they proposed for the development of the data center. They have annexed that land, and there's no authority under the county's code or any other statute that would have allowed the county to prevent the city from making that purchase or prevent the city from annexing that property. So as the situation currently stands, having purchased the property and annexed the property, it is now within the city limits, the corporate limits of the city of Pekin. And at that point, the city of Pekin retains all the authority over the land regulation, land restrictions, and development requirements. So it's firmly within the authority of the city of Pekin to make that determination about what they believe the best use of that property is, keeping in interest the health, safety, and general welfare of their residents. So that's a determination for the city of Pekin to make. I understand that there's perhaps some residents and maybe a lot of your constituents that either don't reside in the city of Pekin, or maybe some that do reside in the city of Pekin, but a lot of people who feel like either positively, potentially, or negatively that this development may impact them. And I expect that many of the board members may have heard from some of those people recently. I certainly understand that. The county board, however, is basically in the position of an individual citizen, where the opinion of the county board, either as individual members or if there's a consensus among the board to act as a whole, the opinion of the county board can be conveyed to the city of Pekin and their decision makers and their city officials to consider. But that is really where the authority of the county board ends. Like I said, if there is a consensus to act as a group to perhaps adopt a resolution, expressing the position of the county and all the reasons behind that position, again, either positively or negatively regarding the land use development, you're certainly within your authority to do that. As individual board members, you can certainly meet with city officials, other decision makers with the city of Pekin, and express how you feel about the project, either as individuals or on behalf of your constituents. But ultimately, Again, the decision lies with the city of Pekin, and any opinions or resolutions that are expressed to them, it would be up to the city of Pekin to either disregard those opinions or take those opinions into consideration when making their decision on the use of the land. But ultimately, the law doesn't allow for the county or the county board to have a role in either the approval or denial of that land use. So that's sort of the quick rundown, but obviously I'm happy to answer any questions I can, clarify anything, and you know, Jackie's here with me, so if there's anything that you would like to add, you're certainly welcome, or if there's questions that you have for Jackie about the county zoning and land use process, feel free.
So as you know, we do not have an ordinance that regulates data centers at this time. It is something that we discussed in a land use committee meeting in September, discussing concerns such as the use of water for cooling in unincorporated areas, further grid strain, reduction of further agricultural land. However, prohibiting the use or passing a moratorium, which has had a negative impact in the past and could cause further annexation for properties directly outside of any municipal limits, such as this. The need for this to move from urbanized areas to more rural areas, having been mostly in the Chicagoland area, pushing out to the collar counties, and now further downstate, is the need for more land as AI is increased and cloud management is more necessary, so these facilities have grown much larger. It takes willing landowners, just as wind or solar, which we typically talk about, proximity to infrastructure, and also proximity to fiber. So with that, you know, there's a right and a wrong location for something such as this. It's more of like an industrial use. And we're limited in our industrial areas of Tazewell County currently, more so down by kind of the Powerton area, further away from residential properties. So that's probably a better zoning district for something such as this, and something that will further be discussed in land use. Something else is there are local incentives that can be used. We can write the ordinance in such a way that incentives aren't provided to uses such as this. We may even say that on-site energy production is necessary to, again, further reduce the necessity to use the power off of the grid, such as an on-site solar or battery backup facility for that particular use. Closed loop wells instead of continually using a water resource is another option that can be a requirement. And in the industrial districts, we have a further setback from residential properties, so that's something that we can look at. Again, stating that it is something that's being considered by the county. Obviously, it's something that the full board will discuss, review, and make a decision on. But again, it's the location that really makes a difference, I think. And we'll have further discussion about that in an upcoming land use meeting.
Are there any questions? Mr. Crawford?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It gives me great pleasure to say that I agree with every word that my colleague spoke. Several months ago, last year, the Land Use Committee had no resolution, but we had discussion on this whole idea of data centers. And again, there was no motion, there was no votes. But some of us, including me, felt like that if data centers were going to happen, we would hope that municipalities would annex the land and manage it themselves and not have it be the business of Tazewell County. That sounds exactly what is going on. And I'm not saying that every citizen of Tazewell County is supportive, because some are not. But the point is that it's not Tazewell County's job unless an applicant would want to propose a site within the unincorporated limits. And they have, to my knowledge, we don't have that yet. Thank you, Mike.
Any other questions from the board, Mr. Sin?
So, I mean, the closed loop well sounds very interesting. Are we, and some other things, the setbacks and stuff, are we close to adopting a county ordinance just in case we do have something like that?
So again, we discussed that in September, with the holidays and things of that nature bringing the year to an end. We haven't discussed it again, but it's something that definitely there's some further criteria that's, come to light since then to discuss with the land use committee.
Oh,
Thanks, and I appreciate you guys doing this tonight. I know there's a lot of interest. When we had this discussion at land use, there was a lot of conversation of why you would put this in the location it's at. Proximity to the city, for infrastructure, for water, for electricity, so that was kind of a no-brainer. But the way I understand it, the water has to come from a constant water supply. And I know you're not an expert on this, but if there was a situation where a lot of people have emailed me about aquifers, and this is a whole different thing than an injection well. This is just drawing water. But if we found ourselves in a situation where people were drawing whether it's corn products, whether it's a data center, and they're drawing more water out, and they're outside of the annexed area of the city, does that become something we have to deal with then?
Well, Jackie may have a little bit more information about that too, but I don't want to surprise you, but there's a whole area of law that's just on water rights.
Okay.
Of course there is, right? So, I understand that concern. It's one that I've heard as well. But the county's authority, again, is not over a common water source. There are other agencies that would handle that, depending on what the situation is, the Illinois EPA, Illinois Department of Agriculture, Soil and Water Conservation Districts. It's part of the process I would expect that the city of Pekin would have to address when determining whether it's an appropriate use in the city or not. But because it's a common water source, there isn't any individual, county or authority that oversees the use of that.
Thanks.
anything else? All right, thank you guys very much, appreciate your time. The reason that I had asked them to come was because the name of the group is the Tazewell County Opposition, and this impacts quite a number of people in unincorporated. I wanted them to be able to come and explain to everyone, because I would imagine you, like myself, have gotten a lot of emails and phone calls, and we just need a little bit of clarity as to what we can and can't do. So, with that, we're gonna have public comments regarding this, because I want to go allow us a little bit of time for everybody who would like to come speak to it. So, I believe we've got one, Mr. Matthew Johnson, if you'd like to come up and speak. Come on. If you would just state your name and address.
Good evening, Matthew Johnson. I'll be brief. I really appreciate the lawyer. I appreciate Mr. Grimm, you putting that on the agenda for us to listen to. Because certainly it's been an exciting week in Beacon. We finally, for the first time that I can remember, packed the city council meeting in opposition of something really big. I know I made a link if you watched it, I linked it to being much bigger than what the prison is going to be. Prison impacted my life growing up, but the city of Pekin didn't reach out in this opportunity and elicited feedback from the constituents. They just decided to do it, and the reason they can do that is because they're a home rule community, and I don't agree with that. There is no safeguards in place for them to do, they can do whatever they want out there, and that's what they're going to do. And if it was me and I bought that land and I wanted to do this, I would have had to go through zone. I'd have to deal through so much stuff, and I know I'm venting right now because of the statute that was presented, and I appreciate the statute. So my question to that is, how can we change that? I'll go down to Springfield, you know? So the impact zone, where they wanna place it, expands North Beacon, Market Heights, a little bit of Groveland, you know? So if I can say one thing, to the county board members who represent those areas, I want you to reach out specifically to them. If you need help, I can help with that, we can help with that. And we can present that maybe together or privately to the city of Pekin, because they're gonna make this happen, and it is going to hurt our community. And our community as a whole is bigger than Pekin in this project. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
I did some of the.
And I guess one more thing in addition to that, Pekin has talked about having a town hall, I believe, on March 24th. I'm sure the dates will kind of come out and the things that we'll become a little bit more educated as to what's going on. This will be a good time for you to do it. Moving on from that one, we have a presentation as well. We'd like to talk about the Veterans Assistance Commission, and we've got Michael Brooks here from Peoria. There's some changes going on in ours. Steve Stoll is retiring, and so in the process of this, we kind of had an instance where a lot of the board is newer, different things. We don't know what the board has, I'm not gonna say control, but what the board's responsibilities are, the accountabilities, the different things like that. So Steve grew up in Washington. He served in the United States Navy. Mike, sorry. Mike, I know, we're all screwed up here today. He has been running the Peoria VAC for 20 years. He was a state association president, and he was the past president during the law changes in 22, 23 when they came into effect regarding this as well. So he's pretty up to date on all the different things. So being able to just have some inputs and ideas of what it's supposed to be, we asked him to come along and talk about it. So.
Lucky for all of you, I'm not a lawyer, so you don't have to worry about that. He introduced me, thank you, Brett. So I am a 95 graduate of Washington, because some people ask me why I'm so passionate about all veterans, including Tazewell veterans. Graduated 95 in Washington, went in the Navy in 98, came back, and then I was actually in church in Washington when the tornado hit, and my parents lost everything on Westminster. So even though I've been working in Peoria for 20 years, Tazewell still has a big place in my heart. All veterans do, but especially Tazewell and Peoria. So I just wanted to kind of introduce that I don't take care of Tazewell veterans because I want to. I feel like I need to sometimes. So I have a PowerPoint presentation. My attorney, you can turn it. So the Veterans Assistance Commission provides a variety of essential services for benefits within the VA for veterans and their families. That one too. So the first thing that we're supposed to be doing is emergency financial assistance. Every VAC in Illinois is different. Some do continuous, some do interim assistance, and I do emergency only, once every 12 months. My thoughts are it's a hand up, not a handout. So I'm going to pay it once every 12 months. Now there are exceptions. There's always an exception to the rule, but we help with rental, mortgage assistance, utility assistance, water and sanitation payment, and then if they apply for food stamps and they're waiting, or whatever it's called, food stamps, link card, we will give them gift cards to Aldi while they're awaiting a decision. Now, if there's an emergency, like I said, if something happened to the link card or there was an emergency, why they don't have any food, we're obviously going to help them. So, next slide. The biggest thing that we do here is VA disability claims. To kind of give you, it's kind of like unemployment or not work comp for veterans. So I always like to give myself the best example because I tore my ACL and active duty. I didn't know it, and then when I get out, obviously it kept getting worse and worse, and then so I'm limping when I'm 27 years old, and then so I filed a VA disability claim for it, and the VA gave me 0% for it. That was nice of them. So when you get hurt, we're in the military 24/7. We work 24/7. We get paid 24/7. So when we get hurt, when we come out, we want to file VA disability claims. So We meet with the veteran and complete required disability applications. We will review the decisions with the veterans. If they have a property tax exemption, we're gonna do that paperwork as well. If you don't know, 70 to 100% service connected means your property tax exempt in Illinois. We actually have the best property tax rules for veterans. Request the veterans or deceased veterans medals one time free of charge. We'll do an appeal, which is a higher level review. And then if they lose on the higher level review, we go in front of a judge at the Boards of Veterans Appeals in Washington, D.C. Now we do it over the computer. We don't have to travel to Chicago where we're used to. So we do it over Teams, and we're going to talk to the judge, and we're going to argue for the veteran. Sometimes the veteran comes in our office. Sometimes they don't want to come in our office. So we just do the argument anyways. Next slide. Another big part, which I'm going to go over my staff in a minute, but Trish and Scott do the deceased veteran services. So every veteran gets a burial flag. We can assist in applying for burial benefits, which is usually up to $2,000. We can assist in survivor's pension and DIC. It means service-related death to qualified survivors. I'm going to give you an example. One of the biggest things we do, which I told them, is let's say a veteran has hypertension, they die of a heart attack. We're going to talk to that coroner, Tazewell coroner, Peoria coroner, and say, hey, that heart attack is really related to Agent Orange, and we want that on the death certificate. Are you willing to put that on the death certificate? Obviously, that's the easiest thing you could do. So they put it on the death certificate, then the VA makes the decision, and they give that widow $1,700 tax-free for the rest of her life. So they're taken care of after the veteran is gone. That VA disability, though, dies with the veteran. So if they're getting $4,000 for disability, that does not pass on to the widow. So the widow is left nothing unless we file for that widow's pension. That DIC. It's called dependency indemnity compensation, but it's so much easier just to call it a service-related death. We're applying for and ordering the grave marker, the free headstone from the VA. And then this office also provides some monetary assistance for the indigent burials, which is up to $900 from the state. That comes from the general fund, actually. Records, we locate and record military discharge papers for the veterans. We provide death and birth certificates for the veterans. If it's for a VA disability or VA claim, it should be free to the veteran. You get those. We will locate it. Their discharge papers from the Illinois Department of Veteran Affairs. We just shoot them an email. If they've ever been to an office in Illinois, they will send us the discharge papers for free. And then if we don't find the discharge from the state office, it's going to go to NPRC, which is in St. Louis, which is where all the records are kept. So that can take 30 days to 3 months to get those records back in. Statistics, veterans, I actually ran this number today because I wasn't even sure. I've been asked so many times about Tazewell County veterans compared to Peoria, and I did an up-to-date census Bureau one, and so there's 7,474 veterans living in Tazewell. There's actually 8,131 in Peoria, and then our budget is basically $1.1 million for 2026. Totals for new money, when I say new money, it says new money up there, $23.5 million. That means if they get a back pay of $60,000 a veteran, that's what lump sum payments. If they get I think my biggest one is ever is $350,000. I got a veteran that went back like 25 years. So that goes into that amount of $23.5 million. Total money, which is included, that $23.5 million is included in that with their monthly amount. And we brought in $145.5 million for veterans. Tax-free money. 5,669 veterans walked in our door in 2025. We are the busiest office in the state, including Cook County, and Lake County probably comes close, and they have 45,000 veterans. So we are the busiest office probably in the state. The question is, how much money did we bring in 2025 for Tazewell County veterans? $36.5 million is what we brought in for Tazewell County veterans. My team, and it's taken a long time. Like I said, I've been there 20 years. My assistant superintendent's been with me 27 years, so she was actually at the county before me. So we have one superintendent, one assistant superintendent. I just created an office manager position and senior VSO. They were promoted within. And then we have 2 veteran service officers, 1 executive assistant, 1 VSO support rep, and and then one front desk support rep, and then we have two VA work studies, which is actually how I started. So a VA work study gets paid by the Department of Veterans Affairs tax-free money. If they're in school 3/4 or full time, they get paid by the Department of Veterans Affairs to work 20 hours a week at your office. So they're free to us. And it's a good way to get somebody in the office, a young kid, just got out of the military, and they can come and work 20 hours a week while they work around their class schedule. So we have 2 of those right now. We used to get them all the time, and we went with like 10 years because nobody wanted to work anymore. There's a generation joke in there somewhere, but we finally have 2 now, and they help us tremendously answering the phones. The next is my organizational chart. So it just shows you basically me and then Trish Collins, and then how we just break it up organizationally for to kind of give you an idea how we do that. I don't have the work studies in there because I haven't been there that long, but they are in there. And I want to give you an idea, which is somewhat unbelievable, is our walk-ins for 2025. If you look monthly, some months we broke 600. That's just veterans walking in our office. 615 was our record. Our lowest one was 315. So we average about 473 walk-ins a month that walk into our office. We're nonstop. We get about 13,000 calls a month. That's not answered calls. It never stops. We get people calling from Hawaii. We get people calling from. Now we don't take those claims most times unless there's an emergency or something like that. Unless it's like suicidal veteran or a mental, they need help right now. So once again, we are the busiest office in the state, and we're 11th in the veteran population. I don't have that on there. We are 11th in veteran population in Illinois. I would guess Tazewell here 12 or 13. So I don't have that, but I was asked to come here, and I want to make sure I am here to help Tazewell, any veterans. If Shannon's already said she wants my help, I'm willing to help anybody. I've been here, like I said, 21 years. I've been accredited to do claims since 2005. The law didn't actually state that we must do claims until 2022, but I did it in 2005. We've all done it. So the Tazewell veterans have been coming to our office, and that's fine. It's just right now we're getting so busy, we need help. And my staff of 11 just can't keep doing 473 veterans. We're exhausted. So I'm willing to help. I got nothing bad to say. I just want to help Tazewell as much as they allow me to. I will come over here and help them follow the law, do anything they need. I'm willing to help. So I'll take any questions if you want.
Is there any questions for Mike? From the board?
Yeah.
Mr. Hopkins?
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Mike, for taking some time. Very informative and doing a lot of work and great work over there. We mentioned, and maybe this isn't a question for you, I'm not sure, but with Steve stepping down, how is that tied in with the board, or how does that replacement happen? Is that through the veterans?
You want me to answer that, or you want to answer it? You want me to answer it? So in the bylaws for Tazewell, and Shannon can speak on that a little bit more, Shannon gets the job interim until there's a full-time superintendent. So that's what's in the bylaws, so that's, I think, what's gonna happen. And I think February 16th is gonna get posted, something like that. So, like I said, I've told them I will help select a new superintendent if they allow me to, or go through the resumes or do applications. I'll do anything. I just want Tazewell veterans taken care of. I don't care who's in there. So I'm here to help them. But
it'll go into a selection committee. There'll be applicants, and they'll go to a selection committee, and that's through the VAC. And they've got delegates and all different things like that. They go through it, and they'll help narrow it down and go. So all the process is through them, and what it goes. A lot of this here again was just what with the change that's coming, simply because Steve's leaving, we need to understand what we need to do to help support, and that's a lot of this is, we don't really see the VAC stuff. We don't see a lot of the things other than every now and then we've got a levy in the budget, but how does it work and what do we do and what do they provide for them? All those numbers that you were talking, $145 million, that's money from the federal government that comes into veterans through the Peoria office.
into your community, that's spent in restaurants, it's spent in grocery stores, it's spent everywhere in your community. So, I mean, it makes a big difference. There's no way to track what they spend it on, it would be nice, but, that's money coming into your community. So, and that's veterans depend on that money to pay their bills as well, so, it helps tremendously.
Did you have something else?
No, I.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Stahl?
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for your service too.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Your FTEs are much larger than our county offices. And I don't feel like you're singling us out. I would assume that our office is very similar maybe to surrounding counties like Stark and Woodford and stuff like that, or?
That's a much smaller veteran population.
Is that the case? Okay, cause I
If
feel
you,
like,
LaSalle would be comparable, and I think they have 6,
okay.
so it is very small.
So it's normal what we have here, cause I felt almost like maybe we should have more people, is that what you're saying, to support the veterans we have?
I'm gonna be like brutally honest, like with the right person in there, yes, you should have more. Everybody's gotta, you know, do the VA disability stuff and get accredited and stuff like that. If they're not gonna do the job, then you're not gonna hire more people. So, to give you an example, it was just Trish and I for the first 10 years that I was there. And, we just kept growing, and then I got a part-time person, I was just excited as all I could be. And then now, so we technically only have 9, and then we have 2 VA work studies. But I had a VSO retire last year, so we're gonna rehire another position, so I'm gonna hire 2 new people this year. We're actually doing interviews right now. So I'm gonna be at 11, and then, to kind of give you an idea, Lake County, the $5 million budget, they have 26 people. So a lot of that started changing when the law changed in 22, where our boards had more to say than county boards. But to kind of give you an idea, I never changed anything with my county board. I still meet with the Ways and Means monthly and report numbers to them every month. And I still send emails to them and I still report them. Do I have to? No, but I still have to have that relationship with my county board. It is tax money that we're spending. So I still work with the Peoria County as much as possible. Nothing changed for me.
So as you grow that staff, are you pulling that money from federal dollars, or is that coming from
No, that's
Peoria
tax
County?
money. Correct.
Peoria County?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Nancy?
Thank you, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I appreciate the information you shared with us tonight. My one question has to do with the way the money is allocated to the individuals. Is that done on a one-on-one basis?
Yes.
What, from one person from your staff interviews the veteran?
Yes.
Is in need, and then you develop that on.
Right, so what we do is, when a veteran comes in, we meet with them one-on-one. We already have access to their medical records online from the military. We go through it page by page, and then we tell them what they were treated for. And then there's presumptives from Vietnam and then the Gulf War now. And then we go over the presumptives and see if they have any of those. And then we say, does any of these still bother you? And then they tell us. So ultimately it's up to the veteran what they want to file for. We're there to educate them on what they can file for.
So do you have standards of levels of standards of how much they could receive?
No, we never guess. So that's sent into the VA, and the VA makes that determination.
That's what I wanted to.
Yeah, we have nothing to do with that.
You have a recommendation that you send?
No, like when a veteran says, what do you think I'm gonna get? We absolutely cannot
So
do
you're
that.
just collecting the information and then sharing it with the VA?
Yeah, and well, then we do the forms, all the forms we submit them to the VA. We have VA access where I can track where that, to the person's desk in the VA. And, we can look up where it is and what the status of it. A guy I served with, earlier, his is what we call rating decision complaint, probably too much information. But that means it's just waiting on authorization. I can actually see the claim before it goes final. I can't tell them, but I can see it before it's even authorized.
And how much chance do you get to appeal those?
How many do we have?
No, how much chance do you get to appeal?
We get 2. So the first, if they get denied, you have 1 year to appeal that. And then after that, if that one gets denied, it goes to the Board of Veterans Appeals, which is the judge, and we have another year. Now, the veteran does get a third appeal. It can go to a lawyer within 60 days after a judge denies it, so we can't do that.
But I'm guessing that you probably pretty well know the situation by the time you apply, so it doesn't happen very often.
We do quite a few appeals because the VA is not smart always.
Okay. That's enough.
Recommendation.
Thank you.
It's the federal government,
Right.
that's all I gotta say.
Okay, but there is someone above you that has.
Yes, and a lot of times, if we see something wrong, I can go to a supervisor in the VA and say, you did something wrong, and then they fix it right away.
And so
They have teams just like we do.
the budget you have, and one last question, the budget that you're dealing with is the budget that comes from Peoria County,
Correct. Tax dollars.
tax dollars.
Right.
And that's only for staff and so on,
Yes.
office pages.
Yeah, staff is the biggest number. It's supposed to be, so we're a little bit over 0.02 of the EAV, which is where a VAC is supposed to be now. If they request.
I was just looking at our budget.
If they request it.
on that. Okay, thank
You
you.
know, no, the VAC does not have to ask for the minimum 0.02. So.
Got it, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Russ, do you have something?
Well, I want to join everybody in thanking you for your service, not just to Peoria County, but you seem to have a history, and I got this from other than you, of being very helpful to Tazewell County veterans, and we can appreciate that more. I assume you're like, Peoria County is like Tazewell County, you don't use $1 of Peoria County General Fund money.
Correct.
And so.
Less for indigent burial, but that's it.
So but you have a Peoria County Veterans Fund, like we do, that's
Correct.
tax levy
Yes.
on the part of the people that live there.
Correct.
So if I was looking on the expense side, just for benefits, not your staff, not your office, just benefits that go to veterans,
Mm-hmm.
what percent, and maybe you don't know this, but I'm curious, is what percent comes from the federal government versus the Peoria County Veterans Fund?
Oh, our budget all comes from tax dollars. The federal dollars that I'm reporting, we don't
Yes.
see a dime of that goes directly to the veteran. We don't get a dime from the
Oh,
federal
that
government.
doesn't go through
No,
your.
directly to the
Got it.
veterans' pockets.
Got it. Thank you very much.
I don't wanna deal with that. That's an
Yeah.
audit waiting to happen. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the board? Mr. Grab?
Mike, you've been here before. I've been on the board for 12 years, and I've heard you speak about this subject before. Am I correct?
I'm getting old, I don't remember stuff.
Well, somebody.
I've been to Tazewell, but I've been to the VAC and I've talked to their board a couple times.
And I've thought about this and considered it, and shame on me because I've never ever brought this up. Do you all know off the top of your hand what your budget is for your office?
Yeah, 1.1 million.
1.1?
Yeah.
Tazewell County's 271,000. Just so everybody knows that.
20%.
So,
Okay.
my comment is to the board. In my opinion, and I dearly love the man that just retired, that ran Veterans Affairs, and he did the best he could do. But I think we've been operating our Veterans Affairs office like it was 1960. And it's time to change. And my comment is, we have the opportunity now to fix it, let's fix it.
Any other from the board? Mr. Brooks, thank you so much.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Now, we also have Shannon Salt here, and Shannon is the chair of the VAC Commission here in town as well. She is a retired Air Force, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And also the Pekin Township Supervisor. Very good.
Chairman. Good evening, everyone, and I do agree with you. As interim superintendent of Tazewell County Veterans Assistance, we will prevail and we will follow the state statute. First of all and foremost, the veterans is number one. I am working closely with Mr. Brooks from Peoria County. I think that we can collaborate together and we can make a successful accomplishment to our veterans in Tazewell County. I don't know a lot what has happened. I've just been brought to my attention. I'm sorry, and I want to say that I'm sorry for all of our Tazewell County veterans that have not have gotten the correct claims done and the correct benefits. That's all that I have to say. I'm going to start next week. If there's anyone that would love to come and see me, I can help to the best of my ability through the state statute, which is 330 ILCS 45/.01, chapter 23, and it's pretty lengthy. Are there any questions? Yes, Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you for making it tonight. I was just, he mentioned, the part of the township, I guess, as well, so you'll be stepping over from the township and letting that go, or?
No, I will be doing both, as interim superintendent. That's only for 60 days.
Gotcha, okay, and then they'll be looking to fill that position?
Correct, yes.
Is that something you're gonna be applying for then?
Probably,
Okay.
I'm not sure yet.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And if that were the case, then I don't know, I guess this is fair to ask yet, since you're just starting, but is that something then, it would be a full-time thing and the township would then, or you would still continue to do both?
No, I would still continue to do the township. That's what I was elected for.
I see, okay, thank you.
Other questions? Can't, not from the, okay. The board? All right. Thank you very much. Once again, a lot of this was just education for, as change is gonna be coming in the next month with Steve retiring, so we know what's gonna be coming and brought forward. We kinda have an understanding of what's gonna go on with the DAC, so. Is there any other public comment for this evening? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Reagan.
How you doing? I'm Michael Reagan. Some of you may remember me from coming here a few years ago. I think it was 2022, 2023. I know a few of you remember me coming talking about trying to get assistance from Tazewell County Veterans Assistance Commission and the problems I had. I want to say first off, I'm here speaking as a Tazewell County disabled veteran. I'm not here for my American Legion post that I'm a delegate of, or for any of my stuff that I do with the Veterans Assistance, with that delegation job from the American Legion, or from I'm a life member of the VFW also. I'm here in no form or capacity. I actually have a non-for-profit called 22 Veteran Artists. Some of you know about that. I know a few of you have seen our art shows and things we do. I want to talk more about veteran suicide, but I do want to bring up a few things about what I just heard. Being here as a Tazewell County disabled veteran, there's a few things I want to say. In 2007, I was going through a horrible time in my life. I got out of the military, was going through a horrible divorce, was really in bad shape. Mike Brooks' office helped me out. Okay, I did live in Peoria County at the time. I was a work study at Mike's office, and I've seen what it's become since since 2007 when I got out of the Navy in 2006. I retired from the Navy after 20 years. 20 years wearing a uniform, you're getting what you got now. This is my uniform now. Be careful when you leave though. Somebody told me there's a hippie out in the parking lot. I looked around, I didn't see him. After working in Mike Brooks' office, it's my passion helping veterans. I actually worked for the unemployment office in Peoria for over almost 7 years, helping veterans find employment. That's a very important topic, something that I did. I transferred on from there. I became a veteran service officer for Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs. So I've done hundreds of claims. I know Mike was talking about some of the federal stuff that he brought. I did actually get to help one veteran get more than $200,000. Unfortunately, he died the day after the VA gave it to him. He had fought for over 12 years trying to get his Agent Orange recognized, and he was Blue Water Navy. It was a heck of a fight. Those of you that don't understand it, Mike would understand it, and a few people in here that have done claims. The VA's not your friend. It's a tough fight. Back in 2022, 23, I can't remember when it was I came here, I had a problem with my property taxes during COVID, back when we weren't allowed to go and actually see anybody and go to an office or anything. I did go to Tazewell County DAC and ask for a copy of my property tax exemption to take it across the street and file it. Couldn't get it. Now just fast forward to just a couple months ago, I was at a VAC meeting in Tazewell County, because I'm a delegate there now, and we still don't have a fax machine in that office. So thank you for the county board for looking at this, and your 271K definitely needs to be bumped up a bit. The fact we still don't have the ability to fax something is kind of blows my mind. The reason Mike's office over there gets the 1.1 million is the amount of work they do, man. It's phenomenal. He's changed veterans' lives. So I'm gonna get back to veteran suicide. I don't even have to ask for anybody to raise hands about who's been affected by veteran suicide, because I know a few people in here that have. And on the 22nd of every month, I've been doing this for over 4 years, I jump in the Illinois River to raise awareness about veteran suicide. We put on art shows teaching veterans to use art for therapy. My non-for-profit isn't really out there trying to make money, we're trying to make a difference. And I fully support anything Mike Brooks does, but something that wasn't brought up, I wanna bring up. His office did offer training to Tazewell County, and it was not accepted. One of his service officers is actually Service Officer of the Year last year for the state of Illinois. Volunteered 1 day a week to come to Tazewell and help them get up to speed with filing claims. That was rejected. So that you guys know what you're working with, I wouldn't increase that 271 K for Tazewell until you've got the right person in the position. And thank you, Shannon, for apologizing for the negligence. It's been a bunch, but it's tough. Back to the somebody said something about we've been running it like it was 1960. I want to bring up some facts. I was one of the people who was really pushing to get the bylaws changed. The bylaws that we were using up until like 2 years ago were from 1978. It's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So bylaws have been changed. They're still not up to snuff. Some of you may have read some stuff about that recently, but the fact that Mike's office has offered to get Tazewell people trained, one of his people has offered to go over there. You gotta get the right person before you go raising that 271K. The last thing I wanna talk about is the Patriot Plunge on the 22nd of every month at noon at East Peoria Boat Club. That's in Tazewell County. We jump in the Illinois River to raise awareness about veteran suicide. I've been doing that for over 4 years. It's something that we need to have more people pay attention to. And I wanna say that I was at a Veterans Department of Defense and VA Veterans Administration Suicide Prevention Conference. I drove down myself, Nashville, Tennessee, Gaylord Grand Ole Opry Ballroom and Convention Center. Great place to squander our taxpayer dollars. $236 was the cheapest hotel room I could get. Wasn't doing that. I did an aerial recon on Google Maps, found the mall a half mile away, or a quarter mile away from the closest parking I find in the corner of the mall, and I just humped it in there every day. No big deal. But what I found at that veteran suicide conference, the #1 cause for veteran suicide is hopelessness. And I know there's a few people in here that have had veteran suicide affect them directly. I don't call them out or anything, but I want to let you know that your family members are not forgotten, and that we're doing what we can to raise awareness about this. It's a travesty that more people aren't getting the help they need in Tazewell County. Thank you to the board for finally making this something that we're gonna work with Peoria County on. All these meetings I go to, I'm always told, well, we're not Peoria, we're not Peoria, we're not Peoria. No, you're not. That's why they have a $1.1 million budget. And that's why so many Tazewell County veterans go to Peoria for assistance. Mike Brooks, thank you for helping Tazewell County veterans out, and all other counties too, because it's that hopelessness that I felt when I left, not even being able to get a piece of paper, that really drives people over the edge. Those of you that wanna come, noon, East Peoria Boat Club, 22nd of every month. This is the thing, I wasn't aviation like some people in here, Mike, but I never got the chance in the military where they said, we're gonna cancel your mission because it's crappy weather. So no matter what the weather's like. Spring Bay Fire Department actually has the only open water rescue here. They actually use it as a training evolution on the 22nd of every month. I'm gonna challenge everybody here, if you don't come and jump, just come down and watch. Watch me go and freeze my butt off for veterans. Those of you that have been affected by veteran suicide, get the word out there. There's actually a Facebook group on it, Central Illinois Plunge Group, Patriot Plunge Group. You just do hashtag 22VA on Facebook, find our art group, and please help Tazewell County veterans get the right person in there. The delegates need to elect the right person to fill this position, and Mike Brooks is gonna be a key person and help you out with that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Alright. Moving on, if I could please, may I get a motion for approval of the minutes of the December 17th, 2025 meeting? Mr. Nelms, second by Mrs. Simpson. Do you have questions or comments regarding the minutes? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. And we will move on to our in-place transportation committee. Mr. Bennett?
Roll call, please.
Chairman Mennel?
Here.
Vice Chair Trail? Here. Elms? Here. Graff?
Here.
Christensen? Here. Woodrow? Highland?
Here.
Mayor LaFour?
Thank you. We have 3 resolutions here. First one being T26-01. Approve, purchase of 2 tandem trucks. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Graff, second by Stinson. These 2 trucks are, they're budgeted. It's a little bit unusual to buy 2 at one time, but with COVID and other things, supply chain issues, we got behind, and this will catch us up. These are fully equipped with plows, wing plows, salt spreaders, bed, the whole, which is a little bit unusual too. The plows and spreaders we usually keep and put on the next truck, but these plows are getting really old and they're past their lifetime, so we wanna, we got, they're both about the same price. The only difference is, the trade-in value. One of them, they allow a little bit more on trade for, so any questions about that? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, T-26-02, approve, reconstruction of a wing wall on a box culvert on Toboggan Avenue. Is there, could I have a motion for that? Motion by, Nelm, second. Second by Stinson. We had a failure of a wing wall. We did have 5 bids on this, so we had some good bids, and the low bid is Nat Concrete for $57,744. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And the third item, T-26-03, recommend this resolution for engineering on our guardrail replacement project. This is to engage an engineering firm for $325,000. Could I have a motion for that? Motion by Graff, second by Nelms. So this is a project that's been going on a long time, probably, Greg Fink was the county engineer at the time, probably, I'm guessing 7 or 8 years ago. It's a grant from, federal grant, and it's a little bit unique because the grant, is covering 90% with a 10% local match, which is good. Is very good, and, so all the bidding's done, it's been awarded to the contractor, but we need a, engineer to oversee the construction, and this is to approve that. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We're in recess, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mennel. Next, we have our in-place finance meeting with Mr. Harris, John, Mr. Schneider. You are the winner.
Thank you very much. Sandy, will you call the roll, please?
Chairman Harris? Vice Chair Snyder?
Here.
Crawford?
Here.
Rusting? Hyland?
Here.
Mingus?
Here.
Trail?
Here.
Smithoff?
Here.
Stahl?
Here.
Woodrow? Phillips? Mayor LaFour?
Thank you, Sandy. Can I get a motion for F-26-06 to recommend to approve the FY25 budget transfer for the health department? Motion by Mr. Crawford, second by Mr. Schmidtall. Mindy, you want to review this for me, please?
Yes, thank you. This is just a standard end of the year, budget transfers that the health department has compiled and forwarded on to us. This was just passed by their Board of Health on the 26th, which was just earlier this week. And so this is why it results in an increase need.
Anyone have any questions for Mindy? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion passes, and we are in recess. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and then we'll head right back into human resources.
So nice we get to do it twice. Sandy, will you please call the roll?
Chairman Harris. Vice Chairman Snyder.
Here.
Justin. Here. Minkus. Mylum.
Here.
Trail. Here. Schmidtnall.
Here.
Stahl.
Here.
Crawford.
Here.
Woodrow. Phillips. Joe Form.
Thank you. Can we get a motion for HR-26-01 to recommend to approve the change to extended leave policy? Motion by Mr. Schmidtall, second by Mr. Stahl. Mindy.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so this is something that we needed to do. We had a situation that came up last fiscal year where we realized that our policy that was currently in place did not adequately cover what we would do under a circumstance where we had an extended leave for an employee. Like, how would their unpaid extended leave, how would their insurance benefits be affected? And because of that, we found ourselves kind of a little bit in a pickle, and which we were able to resolve. But with this change to the policy is going to help us avoid a pickle for our employees and for ourselves as we move forward. So basically what we did is we worked with the Wyman Group, and they are basically a consultant that we use for insurance purposes. And we are putting some verbiage in place in the policy that will direct how we take care of this. So if we have, this is the change. So if we have a employee who is on an approved extended leave of absence, and they are not being paid, they will have their insurance covered if they choose to by COBRA. So they can extend their coverage with the county by paying for COBRA. COBRA would be at the employee's expense, and we also specify in here that it can be up to 18 months, which is by law that covers most of the cases of COBRA. If they have an extended COBRA coverage event, then we would honor that as well, but typically 18 months is what is provided for in the law under COBRA. And it also specifies that that an employee can request an extended leave no more than once every 365 days. So it provides that in there, and it does also spell out, which really isn't so much a change, but an extended leave, it must be approved by the elected department head or appointed department head that manages that employee. And when you do an extended leave, it is not a guarantee of reemployment when that employee is ready to come back. It is just, it's letting the county know or the employer know that they are taking a leave for a period of time. That might be 3 months to take care of something on a personal level. And then when they come back, if there is a place for them, can be rehired, but it is not a guarantee. So it is an at-risk sort of situation if you go on an extended leave.
Is there any questions? Yes.
And then I'd like to have you repeat one part of
Yes.
that statement. The part where you said if the COBRA needs to be extended, you said they would automatically, or you didn't say automatically, but you said they would get the COBRA. Is that they would or they could?
They have the option to. So the employee would be paying 100% of the premium of COBRA. So it's at the employee's option if they want to buy COBRA. But if you're on an unpaid leave and unpaid extended leave, and so we're not talking about workers' comp, we're not talking about FMLA, but if you are on unpaid extended leave, you have the option as an employee to purchase at your cost up to 18 months of COBRA coverage.
Ask that.
So, well, that is actually what's written in the policy, is that that it only goes up to 18 months unless there is by law, an extenuating event that by law allows COBRA coverage to extend beyond 18
Okay, I
months.
think my question was, you said they would receive it, they could receive it, is what you're saying.
They could,
That's the word I want.
yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
Mr. Stahl.
Thank you. Thank you. Just for my own clarification, because maybe I don't understand stepping away like that. If somebody gives notice and wants to take leave like that, if they don't have a job waiting for them when they come back, is it considered a type of resignation where they wouldn't get unemployment, or would they be eligible for unemployment?
It would be a voluntary termination, so no.
Chair recognizes Mr. Gray.
Thank you. Does this apply to all of our employees or just the non-union employees?
This is the personnel policy handbook, so it doesn't apply to unions. This is your non-union employees.
Okay, so if we want to put this in place for the unions, we have to negotiate with the unions.
That's correct.
Any other questions for Mindy? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Motion passes and we are in recess. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will move on to our in-place risk management committee. And Sandy, would you please call the roll?
Chairman Grimm?
Here.
Vice Chairman Harris? Crawford?
Here.
Hall? Josine?
Here.
Minnell?
Here.
Negus?
Here.
Trail?
Here.
Snyder?
Here.
Zinn?
Here.
Stahl?
Here.
Auditor Funkhauser? State's
Here.
Attorney? Treasurer Clark? Here. You have four.
Thank you very much. If I could please, could I get a motion to go into executive session citing 5 ILCS 120/2C11 pending litigation? Motion by Mr. Crawford, second by Mr. Schneider. All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, we will go into executive session at